Meghan Markle is pushing back on allegations that she bullied royal staff members while living in the UK. The latest royal rift comes ahead of Markle and Prince Harry's interview with Oprah Winfrey, which is airing Sunday on CBS. Elizabeth Palmer has more.
This is not only a fight between family members, it's a battle over brand.
How do you feel about the palace hearing you speak your truth today?
I don't know how they could expect that after all of this time, we would still just be silent if there is an active role that the firm is playing in perpetuating falsehoods about us.
Meghan refers to the firm. That's what Britons sometimes call the royal family. And right now, behind the polished smiles, the gloves are off.
I think you can probably only describe that relationship now between the two sides as all-out war.
Yesterday, the London Times reported that after Meghan Markle married Prince Harry in 2018 and moved into the royal household, she bullied staff using, quote, emotional cruelty and manipulation, and forced 2 aides to quit. In a rare move, the palace made a public statement. We are clearly very concerned about allegations in the Times, it said. Our HR team will look into the circumstances outlined in the article. Sunday Times royal correspondent Roya Nika.
Why would the palace not have just kept silence?
I think the feeling is it can't be right for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to sit down for 2 hours with Oprah and say their piece, and to not have people who worked with them and who know them and who dealt with them also say their piece.
Meghan and Harry have called the allegations a calculated smear campaign. It's also a new low point in Harry's relationship with the palace and also the British media, something he discussed with James Corden on The Late Late Show last week.
We all know what the British press can be like, and it was destroying my mental health. I was like, this is toxic.
Yeah.
So I did what any husband and what any father would do, is like, I need to get my family out of here.
Now, this unseemly fight has erupted at a bad time for the royal family because they're very worried about Prince Philip. He will be 100 years old this year, and he's actually in the hospital at the moment. He's been there, in fact, for just over 2 weeks. We hear this morning he underwent what's being called a minor procedure, but he's going to be there for at least a few more days.
All right, well, hopefully he is getting the best health treatment that he can get. And I know he's moved from one hospital to another, so hopefully he's doing okay. But I want to ask you about this sort of brouhaha here with Meghan Markle. We're talking about allegations that occurred 3 years ago. I remember, you know, the British tabloids writing about the palace intrigue, how difficult it was to work with the Sussexes and so on and so forth. So this is like nothing new. Why are we now hearing about an investigation? Is there something else at play here?
Well, that is the question everybody's asking on this side of the Atlantic. It seems more than coincidence with the Oprah interview due to air this Sunday. You just heard Roya Nika there saying, well, the palace seems to want to control the narrative. They don't want to cede the entire public space to Meghan in the interview. And maybe they're trying to, as well, protect themselves. Let's just say that these allegations about bullying are true. It's going to look very bad for the palace that they didn't look into them at the time. This is 2 years ago now. So they are, on the one hand, going, we take these issues very seriously. We are going to look into it. On the other hand, they're lending some authority to these allegations, which anonymous aides made to the newspaper. Just by paying attention, by issuing that statement, the palace is actually going, there's a case to answer here. We need to take this seriously, which doesn't look good for Meghan, obviously.
Well, you know, yesterday when we heard about this Buckingham Palace investigation, a lot of people were asking, well, what about Prince Andrew and his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein and his extracurricular activities? Was Buckingham Palace, you know, digging in to investigate? Have you heard sort of any of that pushback at all, any response on that?
I did ask somebody this morning connected with the palace, and I got a quite a tart response, saying that's a completely different thing, apples and oranges. I think that technically the palace would say, look, we have a duty of care to our staff and we have an HR department, and now we're going to look into this and get to the bottom of it. The insinuations and allegations against Andrew are a criminal matter. And, you know, if and when he's subpoenaed or whatever may happen, we will react. But for the moment, that's just not our domain.
Okay. Elizabeth Palmer, thank you so much. So, don't forget, you can watch Oprah and Meghan with Meghan and Harry, CBS Primetime Special. That's going to be Sunday at 8, 7 Central on CBS.